Welcome to Marketing from X to Z,
the podcast specifically created for small business owners who want practical marketing advice without the hype.
We're your hosts. This is Mike Albuquerque representing Gen X.
And this is Liz Bachman, our resident Gen Zer.
We're here to share honest insights, real-world experiences,
and tangible strategies to help your small business thrive.
Hey, Mike, do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it. Welcome back, everyone, for another episode. Liz, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about local SEO for businesses.
Ooh, I like local SEO.
Well, I know you do, because this is basically going to be an interview of you. So
okay.
You're not on the spot at all. It's going to be fine.
No pressure. I'll bring my A game for this one.
Yeah, okay. So you recently started offering SEO or local SEO. I do know that for your clients. And so it's been really, really fun to kind of hear some of your stories. But I think I would like to start with just, why does this matter in the first place? Like, what makes it so powerful for businesses?
So, I mean, there's a few different things, right? I mean, we talked about like different types of marketing, like referral marketing, through networking, how we've grown our businesses. And you can get to a certain level there until you kind of reach a top. If you want to scale, you got to look at other marketing strategies. And local SEO is just one of those where there's a good opportunity, especially with everything that's happening right now with AI. That field's getting a little bit turned on its head. And, I think it's a really good opportunity for a business to invest in SEO right now, because you're going to have a lot of businesses that are pulling back from it, saying, hey, we're going to wait until this all shakes off and we figure out what's going on with AI. But I think this is the time to double down because there's so much opportunity.
That makes complete sense. So would you consider that one of the misconceptions around local SEO, or like where would you say that people are kind of missing the boat, I guess, with it?
Yeah, there's people thinking that SEO doesn't work anymore. Local SEO specifically, doesn't work anymore. But the truth is that local SEO is more powerful than ever. It's because we're starting to see that being implemented as far as ChatGPT and some of the other large language models are now being used to search for local business. And there's definitely a strategy for how you create content that's going to help you show up there, and how you create a digital presence that's going to help you show up on the LLMs, because they are very different from what has been done in traditional SEO. But everything that's being done in AI, it's still like a small part of what's going on. That's another misconception, right? People are thinking that, oh no, that field's been turned, completely. It's gone in a completely different direction. And it's not true. It's changing, it's evolving. But there's a lot that we can take from AI, which is very little, and implement it on, search engine optimization as a whole.
Okay. So just for clarification for our audience, can you, I know this is not the topic of this episode, but explain what an LLM is really quickly?
Yes. Thank you, Liz. Sorry. I'm using lingo again. Sorry, guys. Large language model. So think about your, ChatGPTs, your Perplexity, you name it, right? There's a million of those out there. The different places that you go to, the different AI chatbots that you go to ask questions.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I just wanted to make sure that we were staying where we are. So, okay. So when you talk about mastering or like doing SEO for your business, you kind of mentioned that there's a little bit of a gap right now because people are pulling back. So I'm assuming that you think there's a competitive advantage to kind of doubling down right now? Is there like more opportunity, more space? Like what do you think? Yeah,
so it continues to be like, in general, right? Taking a step back from the question and just speaking more largely about local SEO.
Okay.
Over 50% of searches are local. Over 50% of searches on Google are local searches. So people are searching for things that are near them, that are in specific cities or specific locations or neighborhoods and whatnot. So the nature of how the internet has evolved for, as far as for service providers and products, is that we are looking for, we're going there to find a local business. With everything that's happening with AI right now, yes, there is an advantage to getting to know and understand how AI SEO works differently from traditional local SEO.
Okay.
And, we don't have to dive super into that, but it's because I don't want to get too technical, but there is a sense of like local SEO. There are certain things that Google wants to look at to see that you are an expert in that field or that service. And AI SEO has other things that it looks at to see that you're an expert. It's able to interpret things a little bit more than Google is, right? With traditional SEO, it's a little more formulaic in the signals that it's looking for. Whereas with AI SEO, it's a lot more, it's able to interpret a page and, interpret some of the signals that are coming from other websites to verify credibility in that way.
Okay, not to throw a wrench in what we have and what we're talking about, but Google also has Gemini.
Yes.
So is ranking for Google like different than ranking for the Gemini answers that are at the top? And that's more similar to an LLM ranking? Is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, exactly. I would say that like ranking for Gemini is a little bit different than what you're going to see below it.
Okay.
Right? Gemini is trying to perform Google's dream of zero-click searches, right? Google wants people to find the answer when they go to Google. And so Gemini is trying to serve that. But if someone is searching for, a painting company that serves their local hometown, the Gemini result is going to be great in informing that, there are local painting companies around them. But then you got to go into the sources or see like if it's going to directly link to a local company. And showing up there is going to be different than showing up on the map pack, right? The Google Maps for the 3 businesses that are closest to you, for example.
And that map pack is a big part of local SEO, right?
It is, yes, absolutely. That's the dream, getting on the map pack, which is the top 3 locations or the top 3 businesses.
Okay, cool. All right, so as marketing professionals or as business owners trying to kind of do SEO, right? But like, where is a good place for people to get started when they're trying to get serious about it?
So for anyone who is looking to get started with SEO, you got to understand a little bit more about it. So there's an education component to it. But primarily, my recommendation would be go get a free account on something like Ubersuggest, which is going to give you a trial of 14 days or so. Look up your competitors. You should know who your competitors are, local competitors specifically, and perform what's called a keyword gap analysis. That's going to show everyone what it is, what their competitors are ranking for in terms of keywords versus what their business is. So I can run that for myself and compare it with another local agency and determine if they are trying to rank for some of the same keywords as I am, or if they're going a completely different route. And that's going to provide me insight because when I look at that analysis, I can see if there are opportunities that they have found that would be completely new for me, right? Maybe I didn't think about a certain keyword or didn't consider how much search volume there is one way or another. It's a little bit of a cheat as far as like doing SEO research. So starting with the keyword gap analysis, that's going to give you a good start.
I absolutely love Ubersuggest. I use that when I do the content marketing strategies for businesses because it also helps with just generating content ideas for social. So not just in the metadata or on your blog posts on your website, but it works kind of. So Ubersuggest is one of my. I have a bunch of accounts, and it's really affordable.
It is, yeah.
What it is.
And you can do the one-time pay once. That's what I've done.
That's what I did too.
And so for anyone who is looking to do this long term, go over there. There might be a link below here somewhere. Or
we will definitely put a link below.
Or go find it on Ubersuggest. But when you do look at the keyword gap analysis, one thing that I forgot to mention, or when you do any SEO research, there's going to be it's going to look a little bit like an Excel sheet. There's going to be different columns. The 2 columns that I want you to pay attention to are volume and competition. Volume is how many times is that search performed a month. So you'll see numbers that rank from like 70 to millions, right? For a local business, anything that is between like 250 to 1,000, it's pretty decent. That's a good starting point for you to try to rank for those. And then competition on the other end, that's going to be a number from 0 to 100. And that is the tool's best estimate of how competitive it would be for you to rank for that keyword. So what you want to look and find is a keyword that is going to have a high search volume, so maybe close to 1,000 or above it if you can. In a low competition, ideally below 33, 35. And if you can't, go for the middle tier. I split it up in 3s. Some tools will do that where 0 through 33, 33 to 66, and 66 to 100. So go for the low or the mid competition and as high volume as you can.
Okay.
That's where there's opportunity.
Gotcha. All right. That's really, really neat. So obviously you're pretty knowledgeable about this, which means I'm hoping that you've got some client wins or some personal experience that you can share with us as to how working on your local SEO has helped a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have clients that I help, and I've done it for myself. A little bit of the origin story of how I started offering local SEO is because I started doing it for myself, and it started to work faster than I thought it would. And that field had changed a little bit from the last time that I had gone through the education process in it. And I started, doing some strategies for myself as far as to creating listings and creating specific service pages for locations, and got to see some results pretty quickly. When it comes to, we talked about volume and competition earlier, right? If you can find the low competition keywords, even if it has a low volume, like something that is in the hundreds, right? 120, 150, below 200, you can rank for that pretty quickly. And so I found a local town here in our area, and I was able to, I think I called you about this. We talked on the phone, and I was like, I just created a landing page for this a couple days ago. Let me see where I'm ranking. Oh my goodness, I'm ranking up on #1 page on Google for it because there was low enough competition and low enough traffic, which led to the low competition. So it's not like I'm getting a ton of hits from that, but there's still over 100 searches happening a month. So I think it's still worthwhile to try to rank for some of that low hanging fruit. And for myself, it's helped establish a local presence. People, are finding more about the brand because I rebranded 2 years ago at this point. And so getting any exposure that I can helps. And that was kind of the genesis of local SEO because it helped my business. I thought, hey, this is something that now I can use for my clients to help bring them to the next stage. I have another business that I started working with, and we started developing what was a hybrid of a local and national SEO strategy. Local in that, we definitely want them to start ranking for the areas around them because they're in a large metro area in a big state with a lot of different big cities in there. And so they want to show up for those cities there, but also they perform their services in other locations. So we started developing a strategy for how do we rank locally for somewhere where we are not physically there. And so, there's opportunity. It's a little bit different, right? Because you're not, in their case, they do not have a location in those places, so they can't rank for a map pack search, for instance. But the idea was that we are using, we're using the location, service location area for them. And we're creating landing pages that are specific to those places so that if they do a lot of work in a certain part of the country, they want to show up for that. So that means that when we're setting up the landing page, we're doing it for that specific location, for that specific city. The clients that we're listing are from that city. That's going to help with conversion for anyone who comes there, right? I mean, if we're looking for a business in Atlanta to perform local services for us, we want to know that they know the area. Right, that they understand the area, and that means the case studies need to be local. That means testimonials need to be local. Any logos or organizations that we see there should be local. And so we developed that for a lot of different towns for them. And it's helped them, not only from a local SEO perspective, but also from as far as like client acquisition. They can now send people to those landing pages when they're coming from those markets.
That's a really interesting thought. So so local SEO not only works for your local business, like right where you are, but say a business like mine, a social media agency, like I have on Google Business Profile. Yes, I got it right. Yeah. So I have myself, like my service area is Atlanta. Now I have clients all over the country, right? But I have my service area as Atlanta. So applying local search, like say I've also got a couple of clients that are in Florida and I've got a couple of clients say in Massachusetts. I could do a strategy to make myself show up as if I was local there. Is that kind of how that works? Kind of, or to show that you service that area. Okay, interesting. So yeah, you can, there's my SEO mentor who, I've gone through his courses and training and whatnot. He ranks for neighboring towns. So he will go and find other metropolitan areas near-ish to him, state or
city-wise,
Okay.
to find where there's an opportunity, right? Some smaller markets might not necessarily have as much competition as a market as big as Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
it could be an opportunity for you to rank for, let's say, Savannah
Okay.
or, Columbia, South Carolina.
Gotcha. No, that does make sense. I
Mm-hmm.
get that. Okay. Very, very cool.
It's lunchtime. We'll cut that out from the.
Maybe. We
Maybe.
might. We probably
Yeah,
won't.
we probably
Usually
want
when
to
we
say that. My
we-
tummy's grumbling. It's almost lunchtime, guys.
Alrighty, so moving on from how hungry Mike is.
Yeah.
When we think about local SEO, it's not just your metadata, right? It's not just your blog. There are other ways to make things work. So what sorts of platforms and directories do you think a small business should prioritize to show up locally?
Yeah, so start with anywhere that you can claim your profile for free.
Okay.
And so that means, if you've done the things that we've talked about, you should be claiming your social profiles, right? Those are great tools for you to go in and fill in your bio or location or address if you have a physical address. If you don't, that's okay too. You can still put the state and the city that you operate out of, but fill those local bios because that helps. Those are directories online. When I speak about directories, those are just places where you can fill out a profile. And that is one of the things that Google looks at when they're looking at the credibility of your business is how many different websites are pointing at you. There's this unofficial metric of the industry called domain authority. And that is everyone's best guess of, on a scale from 0 to 100, how much Google sees that website as an authority on a specific subject. Right, so you would be looking to be an authority in social media, whereas I would be looking to be an authority on website design, for instance. So there are tools out there you can go to moz.com and do a domain authority checker to see what they think that you rank for. Ubersuggest has that in there as well. But one of the things that they look at is, how many different websites are pointing at you. And the higher the domain authority of the website that is directing to you, the better. So for example, business associations, that's a great place to get a directory done. If you're part of a local business association, of a local chamber, and you have the ability to go in and fill out a profile, you should.
Yeah.
And include your website in there, include your socials, include your address. Most importantly, your name, your address, your phone number. If you're listing those three, they should be the same everywhere. Yeah. Exactly the same. So if on your business name, on your Google business profile, you put whatever business name, LLC, comma LLC, do the same throughout.
I don't know if I've done that.
It needs to be like to the T. If your address has suite written out, SUITE, whatever, you write it that way. If it has, pound or hashtag, the number, you do it. It's got to be the same, consistent throughout. So, and the same thing for your phone number. If you put it in parentheses versus using all dashes, which do the standard, use the parentheses because there are some platforms that standardize that. But your NAP, your name, address, and phone number should be consistent throughout. So different Yelp, you can go and claim a profile on Yelp, local business associations, like I said, and then there's industry-specific directories. So for instance, in the design industry, there's one called Design Rush. You can go in there and create a free profile. Every industry has those.
Okay.
And the thing with those is they will have good domain authority. And you can check on it. So your local business association, you might say, no one is going there and clicking on it, which is probably true. But you know what your local business association has? Probably a pretty good domain authority.
Why is that?
Because it's seen as a credible source by Google. There's a lot of businesses there. There's a lot of pages there. Every time there's an event, they're posting things there. So they've been building out their authority online. Even it might be accidental. They might have been building their online authority accidentally for decades, right? But they have an established footprint. They've been around for a while, and they're likely going to have a pretty good domain authority. Your chambers, even more so, your local chambers. So go in, fill those profiles.
You can't tell we've done stuff with business associations, can you?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Okay. I've got this. All right. Yeah.
You're going to go and fill all those profiles now, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I think that I do have some variation as to whether or not I have LLC on the end of mine. So that was like, I knew phone number, email address, like all of that, like being the same. I don't share my address because it's my house. So I'm not sharing my address.
So there's a tool, the tool that I use to perform services is called Bright Local. And what I like about Bright Local is you pay once to have the service done versus some of the other tools which are subscription based. With Bright Local, you go in and you put in your name, your address, and your phone number. And even for a business like mine, which I don't have a physical location, you can go in there, add that. It will, and you can pick the directories. They have a list of different directories and different aggregators, which are the tools that will basically share your NAP, your name, address, and phone number with other directories or with Apple Maps or whatnot. You can go and choose which ones you want to update. And so it will look for old directories, update them to match what you want to have. And don't get me wrong, this is not there's not an automated tool for this. They have someone doing this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's not very expensive to use something like Bright Local.
Okay.
And because there's a manual process, some of them need to verify with you, so you'd be getting phone calls to verify your location and all that. But you can spend a couple $100 on Bright Local and get that done and updated. And yes, it's true that those directories, you do need to keep them updated because they will either get deleted or something might change or whatnot. So that's what some of the subscription tools charge for, is to keep them updated. But you can always just run another Bright Local, just pay them another fee and have another, once a year, just kind of run the checks to see if anything has changed, and they'll update it.
Interesting. Okay. No, that's good. That's definitely because it's almost like I don't do this for a living or something. But no, that's good to know.
Yeah. But look at that. And in terms of directories, like if there are local awards, that's another great place for you to sign up for, especially if they're free, because you can get a link from the local awards website to yours, which again is probably going to have better domain authority than you do. If you're starting your website from zero, anything's going to have better domain authority. So everything's a win.
Okay, that does make sense. When I think about platforms, obviously I think about social, and social media is not like directly a local SEO sort of thing. It's not something that they're buddies, but they're not the same thing type of deal. But one of the things that I actually ended up recommending to you, that when we're talking about local and showing up locally, that I want to make sure that we also share, is make sure that you're leveraging, if you're trying to grow a local presence, the aspects on social media that allow you to do that. So what I'm talking about are, first, like if you go out and about and stuff like that, tagging local businesses with the location tag and their handle, so that you are added to the location map for that location for the duration of the story. And also you have the opportunity to be reshared by a local business that is going to show your content to more local people, so you are more likely to be served to more local people. That's like basically these algorithms on our end, like the way that they work is they want you to stay on the platform. So they serve content to people like the people who watched your previous content, because that indicates that they're going to spend more time there, right? So when you are sharing like a coffee shop, I know this is going to sound kind of silly, but it's like these low-hanging fruit, like ticker things that you can do. Like, so we go to a local coffee shop and we take a photo and we tag them and we add ourselves to that like map, that location. And then we also tag the coffee shop, and the coffee shop reshares us with their audience, because they have a brick and mortar store, is most likely highly local. So the people who are seeing that, if they actually look at it, more people who have those same characteristics are potentially going to be served to your content. So there's, that sort of space involved. And there's also just like geotagging on your images and reels if you're local based. It's not going to make it to where people who are not local don't see your stuff. It just makes it more likely Well, I should have turned that off. Sorry about that. Phone ring. The people who are more likely to, I lost my train of thought. It's going to come back. It's going to be fine.
Oh, you're good. We were talking about
Geotagging.
yeah.
Yeah. So especially since like that can get integrated into your Google business. So making sure that you're geotagging so that your content is more likely to show up in those areas. It doesn't make it to where it won't show up in other areas. I get that concern from clients a lot. It won't make it to where it won't show up.
Yeah.
It just makes it more likely to show up in certain spaces.
Exactly.
And there was one other thing I'd wanted to say about that. Keywords in your naming fields and things like that align with what you want to show up with also helps with local. So, yep. I just kind of went down a spiral there.
No, but that's good. I mean, because it is important and it's something that's new that has kind of changed into space. And my guess is going to be that over the next few months or even year, we're going to see social just become a big signal for local SEO, because especially with the change that Instagram has gone through and all that, that's going to start. There's so many people posting there that and that's a high domain authority domain that's going to weigh in a lot.
And what we're talking about with this change on Instagram, just in case you're not aware, as our audience, is so Instagram has rolled out a lot of location specific stuff. Like there's actually this kind of weird thing that they rolled out several months ago that is a map sort of similar to the Snapchat map that will show where you actively are. And you could opt to turn that on or off. As a young woman, I turned that off, regardless of the potential benefit for my business, because
yeah, you don't. I know it can be a little sus, right?
Yeah, because I don't know that we thought it all the way through Instagram, but the idea, I mean, you're seeing that, and you're also seeing the message feature get dropped to the bottom portion, so they are kind of pulling it. Whenever social media platforms do stuff like that, they are telling you how to do better and what to prioritize. So the adding of like the way that it changes how you're showing up on local, like on maps and stuff like that, that is Instagram telling you that this is a way you can win.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Highlighting the features makes sense.
Yeah. No, it just... So I know that I kind of just took us off into a tangent on social, and mostly we're talking about web today, which is I needed a little bit of the attention. So let's kind of pull it back into your area a bit, if that's okay with you. Yeah. All right. So what steps can business owners take immediately? Like you kind of alluded to this before, but immediately to improve their local search ranking.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about using a tool like Uber Suggest. We talked about using a tool like Bright Local. I think getting to understand that difference between the volume and the competition to come up with a strategy, just going through what are the different keywords that are out there, right? So hop on the tool, perform a search, start with like your business name and your location, see what you get, do some variations. Just compile a bunch of keywords, throw them in an Excel sheet, and come up with a strategy. What are the keywords that are going to have the highest volume and the lowest competition? And then that can start giving you a north to get started, to see where there's an opportunity.
Okay. When we're talking about identifying the keywords, like, are you talking like, okay, now I've got my list. Just having my list is not helping me.
No.
No.
Then you got to fair, but we got to start with the strategy piece, right? We got to start with knowing what you're going to do. So don't just go on your website and start willy-nilly creating things because you think it'll be right. So once you have that keyword, then now you can use it to rewrite your Google business, create your Google business profile if you don't have it, but if you do, then you can use it to, rewrite the about your business section. You can use it for your website, creating a landing page specifically for that keyword, right? So pick one keyword per landing page, one primary keyword. You can have like a secondary or a variation if you want, but ideally you want to have one keyword that you're going after. Start creating content for it, blog posts or landing pages or service pages and whatnot. You can even edit your current pages if it makes sense.
So I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Yeah, let's go.
I really, 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 really want to rank for a specific keyword. Should I create a bunch of different blogs targeted at that one keyword?
No, you want to do one keyword per page or per post. So, because you don't want them to compete against themselves. Ideally, what you want to do is basically have one page that will be optimized for that word, and that'll help you show up in the rankings, right? If you're looking to dominate a certain keyword, then yes, you do start building more pages. But initially, you just want to show up there, right? For most of us, you're going to be battling up against other websites and for other terms. So create one page.
Okay. What about that? That makes sense. That's what I had at one point accidentally created a bunch of blog posts that competed with each other, and I saw myself ranking much higher once I combined it into a mega blog post that was actually more refined personally. But all right, so other things that are involved with like the Google business profile and making your business show up and helping with that like authority that helps with SEO.
Yeah.
One of the big guys is reviews, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So why don't you tell us
Reviews matter a lot. So if you are a small business, I'm going to put you in one of two categories. You're either going to be high volume or low volume in terms of how many clients you get. So a business like myself and like Liz, we are low volume, right? We are versus like a contractor, like maybe like a painting company or whatnot, you're going to have hundreds of clients a year, right? We're dealing more in like the dozens of clients a year. If you are high volume, if you're dealing with people in and out, if you're in the trades and you have a bunch of clients that are cycling through, what you want to do is make reviews part of your process, part of your systems. It should be in your CRM. You should have, once you're done with the job, a prompt asking them to leave you a Google Business review. You should be have your CRM text them. Texting is very effective. It's the most effective way to request a review. But it should be part of your process. If you have a physical location, you should have a sign printed out with a QR code. You should communicate to people how important it is for your business to get a review. Right? I've had people who came to do work in my house where at the end I'm asking them for a tip or I'm giving them a tip and they're like, no, actually the best thing you can do is leave us a review. Right? So I'm not saying that you need to go that route, but that's an example of how you can demonstrate how important a review is. So just make it part of your system. If you are low volume, like myself or like Liz, it's got to have more of a personal touch. So you can, if you're giving out cards to your clients, for instance, that's a perfect spot to say, hey, if you could leave a review, that would really help me. If you can text them, again, a one-on-one text, not a mass text. Make it part of your system too when you finish a project to automatically ask that. But more than likely, you're going to need to do the one-on-one outreach because people get busy, they forget, and if you don't get a lot of reviews every year, if you've dealt with, let's say 20 clients in a year, you got to make sure that you get those 20 reviews. So, you got to stay on top of it, keep track of it, follow up with them. There's, you can let them know what are some examples of reviews that they could leave, even if that can like help them get, not be scared of the blank page and, what needs to be in there. Let them know if there's any keywords that you want them to include in there. So, yeah.
No, that makes total sense. We have a mutual friend who talked one time about how they, or at least I think, regardless, this is still a good example. They leave when they leave a gift, like when they leave like their finished, because it's a large investment project. When they leave their gift or at the end, or like their final bundle at the end of it, they're like a renovation type deal. They leave a card where people can scan for a QR.
Yeah.
To leave a review, and so they include it as a part of that like personalized like leave behind too, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is absolutely. And I think especially if you are on the B2B side, it's going to be a little bit easier because people are going to understand the importance of a review, right? And they'll want to lean in on you if they like the service and they like you. And don't feel that too much time has passed. I have reached out to clients who, I had done work with like 2 years ago and said, hey, trying to get some more reviews. We worked back then. Would you mind leaving me a review?
Yeah, right? No, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Reviews are important.
Reviews are important. Or I think I've got like 17 or something like that. Like I do not have enough reviews.
But I mean, for certain industries, that's fine. You know, the more the merrier. But
Oh yeah.
it's more than the number of reviews is the frequency. It's getting a cadence of them coming in. It's the same thing with content, right? Don't go out and like create like, you know, 18 blog posts for today. Drip them out.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
the same thing with reviews. Try to get them on a certain cadence.
Yeah. Well, speaking of content,
Mm-hmm.
what is what role would you consider like local content, like blogs? Like how does that impact local SEO?
So blogs are more of a strategy for, you know, regular SEO, not local. However,
Okay.
blogs can be used for local SEO as well, because the blogs are essentially the same thing as a page. So if you treat it as so, if you treat a blog post as an opportunity to add content to your site on a specific service, or a specific location, or even better, service and location, but instead of making it a landing page that follows that structure of the landing page, you write it more as a blog that communicates things about that service and location, or that product and location for the product-based businesses, then it's an opportunity to rank. It's a clean slate. It's a page that is on your website, which already has a certain authority. You should create content that helps connect with the keyword that you're wanting to rank for. And the blog gives you the opportunity for that.
Cool.
So for instance, in a case like mine, where I might have a page that is a web design in Atlanta, Georgia page,
Right.
that I want to rank for that. But I might write a blog that, you know, gives an example of, you know, maybe a client that I've worked with here in town, or a specific strategy or a specific event. So it just gives you the chance to like expand a little bit on the keyword without having to alter a landing page.
Gotcha. That makes complete sense to me. The thing that I would add for localized content, I mentioned it in my little spiel earlier, but adding the if local is a big part of your company.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is one that you do kind of need to make the call on that. But name fields on social profiles show up on Google. Right? So if you are like, for you, having, you know, websites and branding, or websites in Marietta, or websites in Atlanta, like that is also going to contribute to you showing up under those search results. So
absolutely. And I'll add a couple more things real quick. So
please
I think when it comes to content, the holy grail of what you can do on your website, where you should start, is not with blogs, but it's with service pages. If you're a service-based business, service pages by location. So look at all the different services you offer, look at all the different locations you want to offer it to, and basically set up service pages for each location.
Interesting.
And make sure that, like you'll see on the website sometimes on the footer, serving location A, location B, location C. So make sure that you do that, and then you provide internal links. Internal links show to Google that your page matters in the context of your website. So that's why you'll see businesses having those local links at the bottom to pages that don't say too much different, right? If you go to my website and you click on the Atlanta, Georgia web design landing page, it's not going to be that different from the Woodstock, Georgia, or Roswell, Georgia page. But it signifies that those pages are important in the context of the site.
Okay, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
And then the other thing that I'll say is, if you are doing this on your site, the link that points to the page from your site and from other sites, what that link says matters. So for example, if you wrote a blog for a local business association, and in that blog you're allowed to link back to your site. If you are linking back to Wildflower social media, that's gonna have a certain weight as far as like your business name. But if if your link said instead social media strategy in Atlanta, Georgia, that is signifying to Google that, oh, this is a link that's about social media strategy in Atlanta, Georgia, versus just your business name.
Oh, so like adjusting the slug Interesting.
No, not the slug, not the slug, just literally the anchor word that's getting linked. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that matters. It's a small signal, but it is.
Okay.
So if you're gonna do it, might as well do it in a way that maximizes what you're doing.
Maximum ROI.
Yeah, I just went in and changed all my attribution fields to be web design by Double. So because I wanted web design to be
correlated with
yeah.
Double. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a little one, but
okay. So where do we? What are some common things you see that are wrong?
All right. So my main pet peeve with local SEO is the over-optimized pages, and specifically, I like if you'll see this where you go to a website and it'll say, let's say, web design Marietta will be the title, and then right under it, it's like designing websites in Marietta, Georgia. And then you go through and it's all like super trying to be over optimized or doing what in the industry we call keyword stuffing, which is where you find the keyword and you just repeat it in a way that feels very inauthentic throughout the website. While that may work with traditional SEO, with the things that we're seeing out of AI, it's looking for more context. And more importantly than all of that, if a human lands on that page, they're going to be turned off, right? I mean, we still want to read content that is written for us versus content that is written to rank. So do not over-optimize your pages at the risk of, losing clients. There are pages that you can use to be more of like SEO specific pages, but on the front end of your site, your main pages, they should be SEO optimized, but not over optimized. They should still be written for conversion.
That makes sense. Use quality copywriting. Don't just you can't sub out one completely for the other.
Exactly.
You need to do both.
Yeah. Because if you look at like SEO best practices, it'll say your keyword should be in your title. It should be in the intro paragraph. It should be in your secondary titles throughout the page. But if you do that verbatim without using like synonyms or variations or really thinking through what is in there, it just gets so robotic. And then that starts hurting the relationship that you're building with the lead that came to your website.
That makes sense. I back when I was first getting started and I was more of a freelancer, like picking up any sort of anything that I could. One of my jobs when I was in college, one of my freelance clients when I was in school was blog writing, and they were very, very, very attached to those prescriptions and to it'll be in the title, and it always. And it stunk because for a while it took a long time for me to actually do it because it felt so clunky to write.
Yeah,
like it felt very, very weird, and it was already a weird topic, so it was already just a weird situation. But the formulaic, it never read like in a way that you would want to read it all the way through when you were following those exact rules. It's like apply a little bit of like common sense or nuance to it, like not to sound rude, but like
exactly.
Yeah.
Because like things with like blogs, for instance, they should be multi-use, right? They have a use in terms of SEO, but they're also thought leadership pieces, right? They help a business demonstrate that, hey, they have a personal experience, or they can share an account of what happened in a way that is written to be read long form. And so it shouldn't just be
SEO.
It shouldn't just be all about SEO. It's got to be a balance.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different things when it comes to SEO. And how often, I guess, especially since we're hitting the end of the year, right? How often should people be looking at all this in the first place?
So if you're doing it yourself, look at it yearly, right? Do an end of year review, see where you land. I would say that's like the bare minimum.
Okay.
Because things are going to change. You're going to, like, if you stay on the tools, if you sign up for Uber Suggest or for a different SEO tool, you're going to see that the trends, and as far as like competitions and keyword volumes, they vary a lot.
Okay.
They vary day by day, really. But if you do a yearly check, you can adjust and see if there's any keyword that just completely dropped off, or if there's new opportunities that came in, and try to rank for that.
Okay.
So I like yearly. I mean, when I'm performing it as a service for a client, yes, we are looking at it like monthly.
Okay.
But if you're doing it yourself, that's overdoing it.
Yeah, it's not realistic, really.
No.
Yeah.
Then your job becomes, SEO agency for your business.
Yeah.
You can't
That's
do your own business.
that makes sense. All right, so we've reached the point of the podcast where we're going into our wrap-up questions. So we are in the last few minutes. If you're still here, thank you.
Yes.
So our wrap-up questions. One immediate action somebody could take to boost their local SEO. We kind of already answered this question, but make it as concise as possible.
Sign up for Uber Suggest. Look for the keywords, and then start implementing them on a landing page.
Okay. That sounds good to me. I love Uber Suggest. What about thinking about through everything we talked about in this episode? What is one local SEO tactic that we want to make sure our listeners remember? Like, what is one thing we want to make sure that they remember?
Sign up for those profiles. If you are part of a business association, sign up for a profile in your business association. Add your website in there and make sure that your name, address, and phone number are written the same way as they are on your website and on your Google Business profile and everywhere else.
Okay, so like that consistency across the board, making sure that we are matchy.
Yes, very, very much so.
All right, and our last one to wrap up. What's one thing small business owners should regularly ask themselves to keep their local SEO efforts strong and effective?
Just think of the low-hanging fruit, right? Are you missing out on something that would be a 5-minute task?
Yeah.
Signing up for the business association profile, or entering your business for an award. Even if you're not getting it, just the fact that you would have the link there would help. Filling up claiming your social profiles and just filling them out, even if you're not going to be posting, for at least to have that as a directory that points to your site. Low-hanging fruit, things that are simple. That is
super, super helpful. And honestly, I learned some stuff today during this podcast, and now I feel like I have homework, so thanks.
All right.
But thank you so much for your expertise and your time, and thank you for listening. And I guess that's a wrap for today.
All right, we'll see you all next time.